Hi guys, so bio, right? We are doing chapter 19. Part 1 of it, part 2 is just a small portion, but I just want to make sure you all know these few points first. Okay, so let's just get right into it. All right, please excuse the sound. That's the sound of the TV. Damon's watching. Okay, variation, right? What's variation? Differences between individuals of the same species. Okay, like you and me, we don't look the same. Okay, we don't have the same maybe skin color, eye color, hair type, features, eye size. Okay, so there are two types of variation. There's discontinuous and continuous. It's very important to know how to differentiate these two. Let me explain to you what is the variation differences. Okay, let me just put this one aside. Okay, continuous and discontinuous. Let's just go to discontinuous first. Okay, now discontinuous means it's a distinct category. There is no in between. For example, tongue rolling is either you can roll your tongue or not. Like, some cannot do it, right? If you cannot means cannot. If you can means can. There is no in between. Cannot like, oh, I sometimes can, I sometimes cannot. No. Fingerprints. It's like that. Really, is that pattern. It won't like. When I'm 5 years old, it's circlish. When I'm 10 years old, it becomes straight. Now, your fingerprints is the same from the moment you are born until you die. Okay, there is no in between. Eye color. Okay, so if you have brown eyes, you won't have suddenly blue eyes the next day, right? If you have brown eyes, means you have brown eyes. There is no in between. Blood group. Okay, you can't be blood group A today and then tomorrow blood group B, right? So you kind of get what I mean, right? This continuous variation, there is no in between. So if we're going to show a bar graph, okay, it's like very distinct. How many people is A blood? How many people is B blood? There is no like, oh, I am A and a bit of B and a bit of O, so I'm somewhere in between. No. Okay, it's very distinct, very characterized. All right. So before we go through this one, let's go to continuous. Continuous, there is no distinct categories. There is no limit. For example, height. You know, you can be, when you're small, you're 90 cm, and then suddenly now you're 180 cm. Okay, weight, okay, heart rate, finger length. Okay, finger length, not to say today it's this long, tomorrow is longer. It's just like when you are small, it is shorter, and then when you are older, it's longer. Yeah, leaf length. Okay, so if we're gonna put like in a room of 10 people, you will see that there's a variation there, like, oh, he's in between 90 cm or he's between 10 cm. So there's in between, and it's usually a very big number, like from 80 cm to 180 cm. There's so many categories. Not like discontinuous. It's like blood type A means blood type A, only A, B, and O, and AB. That's it. There's no others. There's no E. There's no F, G, H, I, J. Okay, the eye color also very fixed, right? There's only like brown, green, blue, black. I've never heard of purple eyes. I've never heard of red eyes, pink eyes. I mean the pupil color, right? Not the pupil color, the iris color, right? Okay, now let's go down here. Controlled by. Now, something you need to know is discontinuous is your gene. If you have a gene for brown eyes, then your gene determines that you have brown eyes. So limited number of phenotypes with no intermediates, like all these are determined by your genes. But continuous variation is determined by your gene and environment. For example, let's say, who is tall in our class? Jack, right? Okay, Jack, let's say you have this tall gene. That's why you're as tall as you are now, right? But let's say when you are young, your father and mother only feed you gene, they don't feed you. Poor thing. They just give you every day, just let you drink water and eat one tofu every day. And then they don't let you go out. They don't let you play sports. And they lock you inside a drawer every night, a shelf. So your height, you can't grow anymore. And then what happens is 18 years later, 17 years later, Jack is at the height of 110 cm. Why? Because he's affected by the environment. Even though he has the gene to grow tall, but the environment prevents him from doing so. I'm not saying your parents do that, just example. Okay, so this is just a repeat. So one reason for difference between individuals is their genotypes are different. For example, blood group, hair color, eye color, controlled by genes. Environmental variation is even you have the gene to grow tall, like you see this bonsai plant, okay, it can grow very tall, right? But because of the environment, you put it in a small pot, and then the height stunted, become very short. Okay, you have the potential to grow that tall, but the environment prevents you from doing so. Okay, so in general, discontinuous, again, as I repeat, discontinuous is only caused by genes. Continuous can be caused by two things, genes and environment. Okay, so we're done with the type of variation. Okay, now let's go back to genetic variation. Now, why is there differences in genetic variation? Why is my DNA different than your DNA? Of course, we know about meiosis and fertilization, right? Okay, mutation, let's go through that later. Meiosis, remember when I told you the process of when our chromosomes divide and then they pair up again. There's so many different patterns that can be made. So that's why even though you and your siblings have the same father and mother, you come out looking very different. It's because the pairings are not the same. Okay, your DNA code is not the same when your mother is making her egg inside her ovary and when your father is making his sperm. So each sperm is different, each egg is different. Okay, fertilization. Okay, once the egg and sperm is different, fertilization makes it even more different. It depends on which sperm fertilizes the egg. You get what I mean, right? Okay, so the next one we're going to go through is mutation. Mutation means a difference. There's a difference that happens. Sometimes a gene may suddenly change. For no reason, your gene suddenly change, okay? So mutation is how new alleles are formed. Mutations are the only source of brand new characteristics in a gene pool. Just to give you the example, let's say many years ago, giraffes all have short neck. That is the norm. Suddenly, out of 1,000 giraffes, there is one giraffe who has very long neck. And all the giraffes think that this giraffe with the long neck is abnormal. Because what happened in this long neck giraffe is suddenly his gene mutated. Don't know why suddenly his neck become very tall. Little did they know, giraffe with long neck, in the end, they survive. Right? You don't know, right? So gene can just suddenly, mutation can suddenly happen without reason. So let's look for example. Okay, a type of mutation affects whole chromosomes. So for example, when your eggs are, remember we use meiosis, our body goes through meiosis when producing egg and sperm. Okay, there is this chromosome number 21. Supposedly it's supposed to separate properly, right? So sometimes during separation, don't know why, the genes just doesn't separate properly. And it's cannot controlled by the mother. The mothers do not know is what's happening inside, right? She's not even aware that she's getting pregnant, right? Just that, no reason why this chromosome pair number 21 do not separate. And what happened is the chromosome, this egg that does not have separated 21, number 21 chromosome, when this egg gets fertilized by the sperm, what happened is this egg gets 47 chromosome. This baby gets 47 chromosome. An extra one more chromosome compared to the normal 46. So the child like this, they will have Down syndrome, okay? So this is the condition. Usually Down syndrome children, they all share the same physical characteristic. You will see that their face looks kind of the same. Generally, they are very happy, good, happy people, but they will have a lot of health issues like heart issues, things like that. But other than that, they would live a normal life lah. Okay, so if people ask why this happened to the pregnant mom, there's no reason why, because mutation can happen for no apparent reason at all. You can be perfectly healthy, you didn't smoke, you didn't drink, you can stay at home and do exercise and drink the most healthiest drinks, food. This still can happen. Yeah, so I would just say it's fated lah. Okay, but there are also some factors that can make mutation more likely. Okay, for example, ionizing radiation, like World War II, when the effects of the bombs, okay, comes down and all the radiation come out from the bombs, it really affected a lot of people, okay, especially those who's pregnant, okay, the babies inside, they are very deformed. Okay, you can do more research on this. Some like maybe have an extra ear, maybe lost one eye, things like that, okay? And also chemicals. Let's say when a pregnant lady, she eats something contaminated, like really, really heavily contaminated, mercury-laced poison food, okay? And then it affects the baby, right? So we call them mutagens. Actually, there are some daily things like processed food do contain mutagens. That's why it's not really recommended to eat a lot of processed food because they can cause healthy cells in our body, okay, to mutate, okay, and then end up becoming cancer cells. Yeah. Okay, anyway, this is the reason for mutation. Probably it's ionizing radiation, probably it's mutagens, but sometimes it can just happen for no apparent reason. Okay? Right, now let's just move on. Okay, this is adaptive feature. Oh, hold on for a while. Okay, sorry. Am I on record? Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm on record. Okay. I was scared I was not recording. Okay, adaptive features. Every organism has features that help it to survive its environment. Okay. For example, fish, they have gills that allow them to obtain oxygen underwater. Or fish, predatory fish like sharks have streamlined bodies for fast swimming, sharp teeth to kill prey. All this you know already, lah. Okay. So an animal or plant that is well adapted to its environment is more likely to survive. Okay. For example, if you are a water creature and you are a seahorse and you are bright yellow in color and you cannot camouflage at all, what happens? Guess what? Predatory fish can eat you alive very fast. But let's say you are a seahorse, you are dark in color, you blend together with maybe dark brown coral. You are hard to see, right? You camouflage. So it makes you more likely to survive, okay, to grow old enough to reproduce and get the next generation to pass down your genes, okay? So adaptive feature means an inherited feature that helps an organism survive and reproduce, okay? Another word we use is fitness. Now, fitness doesn't mean how fit you are, how healthy you are. It's not. We use this to describe how well adapted an organism is. So fitness definition, the probability of an organism surviving and reproducing. See again, surviving and reproducing. You have to write these 2 points, okay? And also in the environment in which it's found. In your exam, when they ask you for the definition, it came out a lot of times, fitness, memorize. Okay, right. Now let's go to the next one. Xerophyte. We learned about xerophyte today. Xerophyte are plants that are adapted to live in place where water is in short supply. For example, the desert. Okay, an example of the plants like cactus, or succulents. Now this one, I want you to pause and read yourself. So easy. How do the plants in the desert, they survive without water or with very less water? Okay, it's basically very, very easy. Do your own homework, read. Pause the video, read. Okay, I know students like Suwei, she copies down all the notes into a notebook. I hope you're doing the same thing, okay? Right, next one is hydrophyte. Hydrophyte are plants that live in very wet place, okay? And even those that live in water, we call them hydrophytes. For example, water lilies, okay? So they don't need to conserve water because they are already full of water everywhere. So just like some special characteristics, they have hollow space. See, they need to float, right? So mostly they are not very heavy, they are light, they have hollow space in their stem and leaf. Okay, so they can have plenty of sunlight, they can float on top to photosynthesize. Then they have stomata on top and down to absorb maximum carbon dioxide. And the cuticles don't have to be thick at all. Thin cuticles will do how much water want to evaporate up to them because they have a lot of water. Okay. Right, next, the last part here would be selection. So we know that many years ago, there are animals, okay, that slowly change in appearance. You do know that last time dolphins were land animals. I read that somewhere. Dolphins were land animals, things like that. And then dinosaurs, as you know, extinct, or some of them evolved. Do you know that there's a theory that chicken come from dinosaurs? Who knew? Okay, so we call that evolution. It's still a theory. It's not like a definite 100% thing. Some people don't believe, some people believe, but we just go through. Okay. Now, Darwin's theory of evolution. How did evolution happen? You can just copy this down. Okay, it's not very important because I will have an example of picture to show you. This one. Okay, so let's say you have these two cactus. They're the same species, right? But there are different individuals that have difference in their features. One have very long roots, one have short roots. Okay, so you see during a wet season they start to flower, and you know flower is a reproductive organ, right? Meaning they are reproducing. Then you see overproduction is a lot of cactus really, right? Now if there's a lot of cactus, what happens? There is a competition. So there's competition for water already. Now, look here. So these are all the cactus that are now in the population. Okay, there's a competition for water. Now it's the dry season. What happened is those that have short roots died off because they cannot get water. But those that have long roots, they got access to water. And then these individuals, they survive and they go on reproducing new generation. And all their kids follow them, have long roots. You see that? Okay, so in the end, after many years, short root cactus are no longer existed really. Now cactus are all long rooted because they are adapted, they are fit to survive. You get it? So this is just now the notes, what I summarized lah. Okay, right. Another example. Okay, let's say we have moth. Okay, this is the dark colored moth and the pale colored moth. Okay, so we put them in a polluted wood and unpolluted wood. Okay. Okay, after a few days, we try to catch the moth and calculate how many moths that we can catch. Okay. Most of the recaptured marked moths in the polluted wood were dark, suggesting that the pale ones had been eaten by birds, which is very obvious. If let's say you're in these woods, if you are dark, you are camouflage, you don't get eaten by birds, right? But if you are white, pale, and you stand out, the bird eat you. But let's say if you put the dark one into this forest, then they are more easily seen, right? And they're easily eaten by birds. So we catch more white ones because they are easily camouflaged. You get what I mean? Okay, another one. This one you can read yourself because I do have a diagram to explain. Okay, this one. Let's say these are all bacteria. Okay, and it's not advisable to always eat antibiotic. Why? Because we can produce antibiotic resistant bacteria, or we call them super bacteria. So let's say, for example, this is a group of bacteria. So you eat the antibiotic. All of them die except one. Nothing you can do to make this immune to your antibiotic because it is immune. There is mutation in its genes. So see, this bacteria is freely moving around your body and start to multiply. And then all the next generation follow its DNA. They are immune to the antibiotic that you're eating. So it results in you have to go and find another antibiotic to eat it. Yeah, so that is a way of survival. Okay, so class end here. After this, there'll be one more topic on the sickle cell anemia. Okay, that one I will go through later. Right, any question, please ask me. Yeah, thank you.